Hello, my beautiful friends. This is Andrea from The Leaf Heart Path, and I want to welcome you to my channel for this timeless pick-a-card reading. I am an intuitive healer, a Reiki and cord-cutting practitioner, and a tarot card reader. This channel focuses on intuitive guidance in the form of pick-a-card tarot readings, and I've recently begun to expand into Reiki healing videos for those of you who'd like that little energetic boost throughout your day. And if you'd like a personal reading, healing, or your own Reiki video, please check out my Etsy shop, The Leaf Heart Path. The link is down in the description box below. So I have a confession to make. I already shot this video a year ago. In fact, I had just wrapped up my most recent upload yesterday, and normally I'll take a break, a week, a couple of weeks. Sometimes I wait a month before I upload another video, and Spirit was nipping at my heels immediately to do another video, and they pushed me toward using the spring clearing spread that I designed last year. And if you're into doing your own readings, you like oracle cards, tarot, that kind of thing, you can find details about it in my blog at theleafheartpath.com, and I'll link that post in the description box below. You can also check out last year's energy here on YouTube, so I will include the video up here, a link to it in that upper right hand corner there. So pick-a-card readings are always timeless. You could be seeking career guidance or love messages, and you get a random hit on some predicative March video from 2019, or YouTube pulls it up and you feel compelled to look at it, and your message you find is actually hidden in there. So if you're somebody who worries about timing in the titles or the intention of the video, know that everything really is timeless. You don't need to be worried about those kinds of things. Spirit will always find a way to get that message to you. The universe will provide for you, even if it comes in unusual ways. We have to be open to that. And I designed the spring clearing tarot spread ultimately to be a bit of a predicative one, but you still can go back and revisit things. And the idea behind this is that we're thinking about transitions right now. We're moving from winter's grasp into the embrace of spring. We have a softening, there's a thawing out of everything, there's relaxing, there's letting go. We begin opening the windows, we're releasing stagnant air, things that have been stale for a while. We're decluttering our homes, our spaces, our cars, and we're welcoming in fresh new opportunities and perspectives. And so what I'd like to do today is examine your overall spring energies for the period ahead. So we'll be examining just that, your overall spring energies, what needs decluttering in your life, what needs cleared out, tidied up, pitched, pruned. Then we're going to explore what you're currently planting in the garden of your life. What seeds are you planting? What are you nurturing, fertilizing? What's growing from that energy? And then we'll also look at what needs a little extra TLC at this time. So we think of when you're just starting plants from seed, for example, you'll have your grow light and you have to take care of these little seedlings that need to be protected from overwatering or over scorching once you get them outside, or the freezing temperatures. And then finally, we're also examining what's blossoming when we integrate all of these changes, what's happening for you beyond all of this. So a lot of it's contingent upon your actions and what you're doing in here. And with that, with healing readings, I want to add in a little disclaimer, especially when we're dealing with readings that ask us to take action. And a lot of my readings are like this on this channel, so if you're familiar, you already know. There may be some messages in here that are difficult to hear or could be triggering for you. That's just the nature of healing. There's not a way around it. If you're ready for it, you're ready, and you have to go through it. So if you're feeling a little extra sensitive, you maybe need a little more TLC today, my loves, you may want to revisit this at another time, and we'll be here for you when you're ready. And if you're sticking with us, you do have 4 piles to choose from today. Each will be using a different tarot deck, as you can see here, and I'll be adding in some little nature elements to each pile for those of you who enjoy using that energy to inform your choice. So our piles move from left to right. We have pile 1, 2, pile 3, and then pile 4. So take a moment to tune in and see which pile is pulling your attention a little bit here. What's tugging on the edge of your brain? And I'm going to add our natural elements in here now, and so you can see if that changes your decision. All right, so group 1, your mineral here is copper, and your tarot deck is the Rust Belt Arcana. Group 2, your mineral today is Phosphosiderite, and the deck you'll be working with today is the Embroidered Forest Tarot. Group 3, your deck is topped with Hematite, and we will be working today with the Austera Tarot in honor of spring. And group 4, your stone is a lovely fairy stone or goddess stone. It has many different names, and your tarot deck is the Great Lakes Tarot. If you need it, friends, please take as much time as you need to in choosing your piles by pausing the video now. When you're ready, you can find your timestamp and chapter listed in the description box and video bar below. You can watch as many different groups that you feel pulled to, or as few as you'd like. There is no right or wrong way to do this, my friends. Your messages are your messages, and when you're ready, I will meet you over in your video for those messages. I'll see you there. Hello, Group 1. You chose the Copper and the Rust Belt Arcana for your tarot reading today. Please remember your spring cleaning reading is a general reading. As with all readings for the collective, some messages will resonate for you and others won't. So whatever applies, you can take that and let the rest fly. Let's get into your reading. We're going to start with your very first card, your first energy that's coming up, and this is your overall energy for this upcoming period of springtime. And you have here the Queen of Cups, and this is Dr. Robin Wall Kimmerer on here. And it says, becoming indigenous to a place means living as if your children's future mattered, to take care of the land as if our lives, both material and spiritual, depended on it. All right. So, what I'm getting from this is goosebumps, first of all, but I'm seeing the idea of glue or rubber, like rubber cement, a stronger and more flexible bond being forged between you and something within your life. So one thought is that you are stepping more fully into yourself, as though your tether or your soul cord between your soul and your physical body is becoming more tangible to you. So you may become more alive intuitively, more alert to the presence, you know, of what is you and what is other during this period of time. I also feel like this is you getting more grounded and rooted into what is important in your life, Group 1. So it's very much a physical and a 3D energy that I'm getting with this. You know, and when I'm talking about what's important to you, this could be a partner, it could be your children, it could be familial ties, your life in general, okay? We are spiritual beings having a human experience. I'm sure you've heard that before. And I see almost like a recommitment, a rededication, oh my gosh, and a blessing of the land, as though what once seemed barren and blighted is actually, you know, teeming with possibility in life, even at the most microscopic levels. And it has to do with perception. Wow, okay. This is some strong energy that's coming through here. I'm like getting really, really overheated with this. So there's been some kind of shift, like an awakening, a veil being lifted that's allowing you to see more possibility here and to become more alive within that possibility. You have this presence that Dr. Kimmerer speaks of, like living as though your children's future matters and taking care of the land. And I'm seeing the land in this instance as yourself, as if your lives on all levels depend on it. So, you know, all those levels we were talking about and what she said, the material, the spiritual, like physical, mental, everything that's there. And this is the striking of a match. It's the blossoming of a flame as it flares to life. This is rededication through dedication, and also connection through empathy, through feeling. Because this is the Queen of Cups. We're talking about emotions here as well. Okay, so some of you are stepping into your feelings and you are reconnecting with them again. What was once lost is now easily found within your energy. I'm seeing plumbing, and it's like we have pipes, and it's like they weren't connected and now they are connected. And so before they were either oversaturating everything, the water's flowing where it's not supposed to go, it's flooding everything out. And then there's the opposite where there's nothing coming through, there's a blockage or things have frozen and now they're starting to thaw. So this may be a process, group one, that is already underway for you, and this may be something that's starting to happen on the most microscopic level. Something you can't yet see, but you're beginning to feel the difference. I can feel it right now. It is the smallest shift. It's a hint of something new. It's a hint of something fresh that is carried to you on the breeze. And so whatever this aliveness means to you, this newness, this electricity, embrace it. It does feel fresh. I don't know, all these little flowers that are popping up here. It feels good. It feels human. And while it feels that way to us, I want to stress this isn't new. This aliveness isn't new. And it's not fast moving. Even though I said it has an electric feel, it's not fast moving. Because it doesn't carry the energy of burnout. It's not too much. It's not getting carried away. It is actually just you coming home. This is where you're meant to be, group one. The land is ready for your contribution and it welcomes your roots. Okay. This is some pretty big energy that we have going on here. And I want to keep rolling with it. So we're going to keep moving. Spirit's really pushing here. They're like, I feel like I've got, I don't know how to describe it even. It's like I've got wild horses in me and they are just chomping at the bit to like escape the corral. And I feel like if I don't, I don't know what's going to happen. So we're going to keep going. Anyway, our next card is that of decluttering. You know, the first thing we do when we're cleaning is to declutter. And we want to look at what we can let go of, you know, what's not serving us any longer, what might be holding us back, what can we pitch, what can we get rid of, what can we get rid of. And so what needs to be decluttered for you? We have the Ace of Wands here, or excuse me, the Ace of Swords, and we have perceiving. And what needs to be decluttered for you is this energy of perception, okay? You know, we said there was something in your life that felt like a distinct lack of energy was present or not present. You didn't have flowing essence. There was a lack of life. We talked about like the land, and we talked about it being yourself possibly as being like barren or blighted or destitute in one sense. Feeling that way. And the owl on the Ace of Swords here is reminding us of the power of our own perceptions and our interpretations. There may have once been a lack of energy in life in a particular connection for you, in an endeavor, you know, perhaps even like you were experiencing a general kind of malaise, a depression perhaps that you've been going through for some time. And we spoke about the veil being lifted, right? This new energy of vitality coming in. Yeah. And it's coming into your energetic field and experience. Group one, this is what the universe has been cooking up for you, right here. You're now going to be able to perceive this. I think that's the important aspect. I think this energy may have always been there, but our own interpretations and perceptions, especially of the thinking mind, which is what the Suit of Swords is about, it can overwhelm, it can numb. Our minds can rationalize things away. We can explain away feelings we might not want to deal with. We can, you know, suppress everything that hasn't been fully expressed. We can try to forget about it. Things that need to be released, you know, or integrated. We have ways of suppressing that with our mental energy. Our rationality rules our minds. Yeah. Our minds rule when it comes to shaping things into expressions that make sense from our own repressed memories, from our own conditioning, and our early experiences in life. And the energy is going to flow the path of least resistance, the familiar path, the one is that is taken the most, right? So I want to emphasize that this is largely unconscious for many people. For others, and perhaps if you're here, if you follow this channel, you are starting to recognize these things within yourself. You might be a little more self-aware. You may already be actively working on these things, on some of the mental blocks that are here. Now is the time for you, group one, to declutter in this spring energy by cutting ties or cords and severing the bond between our old perceptions of something or someone, or this old lens we might be using, and to let what is real and tangible and at the tips of our fingers and under the soles of our feet to rise up and meet us as we bend down and truly see where we are and what is possible in our 3D reality with what's directly around us. So I want to say to group 1, I do have a specific message for some of you that what this may be about is a person, perhaps a relationship you saw as being one way, and this individual may have served a role for you. And perhaps this was a reinforcing role, one that encouraged those old ways of thinking and being to further take root and establish themselves, making new neural grooves in your mind. And you may have recently discovered or are in the process of learning that your perception about this person may have been erroneous, or where they saw themselves did not intersect with where you saw that person, okay? It didn't intersect with the vision that you had and where you were together, so maybe you never quite matched up. And so this could be unrequited love for some of you, a romance that never blossomed fully, an ex, a relationship, a friendship that is past its prime. That happens. A situation with a coworker or a boss. It does not have to imply romance. So I think for a lot of you who are watching, this is going to be what you're getting rid of, and what we're talking about here is actually a people-oriented energy, you know. And so you want to allow what is actually in front of your eyes to be there and be present with you at this time. So you can ask yourself, if we're talking about people, is this person physically there with you right now? Do they spend time with you? Is it by choice versus, you know, like you guys are coworkers or something together? Are they occupying space in your head rent-free if they're not there and they haven't been there for a while? What are their motives? What are your motives? Where is this going? And I want to say it's time to almost pull back and dissect this experience as though it's over and has expired, okay? It's almost like I see you, you know, looking at the owl. The owl, I don't know, it's stuffed. Maybe you're dissecting it. You're taking care of it. You're going to taxidermize it. Can you use that as a verb? And you're trying to figure this all out, like what happened here, and you're spinning your wheels, trying to understand this situation, to discover what inside this is keeping me tethered to this person. And I think that's the real question. What is it that binds you to this individual? You know, and is it time to walk away if possible? Can you cut ties? Can you cut energetic cords? Because I do sense there is a disconnect between perception of what is or was real and then actual reality around you. The Queen of Cups energy, she invites you back into yourself, into your body, your home. Your body's your home. And she's asking you to occupy your own space and to be present with yourself, to take care of your land, yourself, and to release anyone or anything that's no longer serving you. Okay? So even if that's not an individual, group 1, you want to declutter by releasing the energies of any relationship, situationship, anything, old dream, habit, facade, you know, mask that you're wearing, and begin to perceive what's actually available and in front of you versus chasing a ghost. I keep seeing hands like molding clay. You're using what's in front of you. You're using the resources that are available to you. Okay. We also want to examine what's being planted. So this is decluttering. Now we're moving on to planting. So what's being planted at this time? What happens to this, you know, exploration of vitality when we let go of these old perceptions and interpretations, you know, or people and situations that are no longer serving us? And when I originally shuffled these out, you had 2 cards that came through for you for this position. I don't normally do that, but that's the way it went. And so we're taking both of them today. And so you have the 2 of Pentacles in reverse. And if you want to look at that upright, it looks like this, and it says split attention. And the Sun. Beautiful. Okay. Scooch things around a little bit here. It's even enough. So, things we're planting. What I really want to talk about is this. I'm being drawn to this idea of the split attention. And it's the phrasing of this. The Two of Pentacles is, I mean, traditionally I just kind of think that as a balance, the idea of balance, but I can also see how it would be split attention. When you resolve this perception and interpretation issue we talked about with the Ace of Swords, you are resolving a false duality that the Queen of Cups and the Ace of Swords were bringing to our attention. Okay, that was a false duality, a false existence. And so your attention is no longer split between two things, two realities, or one reality and one very strong fantasy, you know, or a daydream for some of you. Instead, you see by the sun's clear light of day. There are no shadows to hide behind under the noonday sun. What's available and ready at your fingertips is right there, and you're okay with that. Your focus returns to yourself. Your feelings and emotions are resolved and integrated so that you can see with more clarity and not perceive and misinterpret from your old wounds and patterning. And I almost see the sun here as healing. It's a healing light, one that smooths over these like neural grooves and pathways of the brain and allows you again to be one inside yourself and inside your body, and to begin to experience those little joys that you may have been taken for granted for a while because you just haven't been there. When you're present in your life, those things are more obvious. It's easier to feel them and see them and know them, like the warm sun on your shoulders, the gentle breeze as it dances across the tops of the trees or it skates across the surface of the water. See people fishing here. You know, the smell of blueberries and wintergreen as they ripen in the sun, or the scent of pine. I'm thinking about the Upper Peninsula of Michigan right now in the summer, but you know, it's sweet and it's gentle. They're tangible pleasures for you and opportunities, really. Touchstones that let you come down into yourself and begin to allow you to get curious about what else is around you. You know, it's about grounding into yourself and grounding into your reality. So, I think we even said this somewhere at the beginning. I can't remember. There's just this overall softening that is being planted here, a willingness to begin to put down your guard. And I feel like I need to call out my hypervigilant friends out there. I see you. I understand you. And not to worry so much about who's traipsing into your golden afternoon, into your garden here, because you can't be bothered to worry about that at this point. You care less about what other people think as you begin to get more plugged into what matters for you and this moment and your own future and how you choose to be in the world with the time that you have. That is what is being planted for you, Group 1. Okay, now we want to examine what needs nurturing on this path, what is going to need tending to as you're taking care of everything. I'm going to take a moment to get a drink. Okay. So what needs nurturing is the Tower. All right. So, change, my friends. You need to nurture this change. Whether that's you coming out from your tower, your position of hiding and safety behind carefully erected walls that you've put up yourself, or if it's just embracing this change that's the path that you need to tend to. And again, a lot of this is unconscious. I don't want you to feel like I'm just calling you out here and saying you're doing all of this purposefully. I can't say that tower moments are comfortable, except with this tower card, I feel like this isn't so much of a surprise for you at all. Yeah, I think in fact you already knew something was ending with this Ace of Swords here, and that might have actually been your tower moment. You started to see some things were not in alignment, perhaps. You weren't in alignment with people or whatever that situation was, or thing. The cracks were starting to show. This is the true energy of homecoming, all right? Coming home to yourself, stepping out into the light of the sun. coming back into your body, working with what's right in front of you, doing the work itself, not relying on other people, you know, the next shiny object that appears in your world, like the squirrel moment, right? You know, or numbing yourself, if some of you are doing that. Queen of Cups energy really emphasized an almost dissociated kind of quality for me. It's a feeling that I felt almost like out of touch with reality, with the body, with the present. That's what she was highlighting. So this may be a time to start taking inventory in the ways in which you distract yourself from your daily life. Like, is it too much time on the phone? You watching too many things, like videos on TikTok? Like, are you eating or drinking or drugs or, you know, having too much sex? Like, over intellectualizing, overworking. Even too much grit and determination can be its own addiction. That overworking is one that kind of gets subbed in a bit. Smoking, escapist fantasies. You know, this is where you need to nurture your own self-inventory and be honest, be brutally honest about that. Yeah, self-reflection is going to be huge here. Honesty about your behaviors and habits. It's very easy and very unconscious to slip into something more comfortable. And now with the Tower, the time to begin to sit and reflect with some of that discomfort you may experience through numbing out, dodging, and hiding is what is being emphasized here. It's time to explore what's underneath that. And I have to add in, though, if this is too much, just stop and seek out help if you're getting overwhelmed, because there are wonderful trained professionals out there who can help you with that self-inventory, and seeing a trained therapist or counselor is something that can really benefit many individuals if this is something you wish and have access to. So nurturing yourself through the change, be kind to yourself. And at the end of the journey, we want to discover what is like our end result, what's blossoming for you now, what is blooming, because you've done the inventory, you've done the work, you've tended to your garden, you've pruned out what doesn't serve you, and you're nurturing what does. And your blossoming card came out as cards also. So we are taking Three of Pentacles, Spider. You're not a spider person, sorry. And, oh, the World. I love this depiction of the world. So beautiful. Okay. So, cycle completing. Yeah, the Three of Pentacles. I'm seeing this in this reading as a card of coming together, working together, and integration. So there may be some new relationships that are forged as a result of your hard work. And this may also speak to like a supportive family or friend being there for you, perhaps a professional as well. And I see you as having more tools under your belt to deal with hard times going forward. The light of sunny days openly illuminating things that were once hidden to you or by you. You know, and this coming together, I think it circles back to this idea of stickiness. Remember, we talked about that at the beginning. We talked about that was one of the first things that came to me, was like that glue or rubber cement. We have a spider here, right? Spider's web. The glue or tether that binds us to ourselves this time in our daily experiences. So it's not so much in, you know, that external stickiness that's pulling us into things, but it's our own cord. It's pulling us back into ourselves. So this is you integrating this energy. You're coming home to yourself. You're living a purposeful life. You know, making a choice each day to come back to your land and to yourself and to live there and possess the space with gratitude and hold yourself in loving kindness. This serves as a point of light or a beacon that pulls those in closest to you even closer. And I do see you discovering new things together or making discoveries. Maybe something that was once old is now become something new and thrilling. Beautiful new memories are being forged. And there is a level of contentment and satisfaction that no outside shiny object or person or fantasy could ever deliver to you, because you've found the wellspring of contentment within yourself. It nourishes you, it replenishes your soul and your body. You are not just in the world anymore, but you are also of the world going forward. And you treat it with the respect and tending that it deserves, and with love at each and every level. Wow. Okay. There's some intense energy there, group one. I am going to put a pin in it now. That's your reading for today. So thank you so much for being here with me for this spring cleaning journey. And if you'd like to book a personal healing session or reading with me, details are in the description box below. I only take readings through my Etsy site. I will never solicit anyone for readings. And to balance out and in recognition of our energetic exchange today, if you enjoyed this video, I ask that you like it and please share it with others who may likewise find it of value. And please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. If you're so inclined, let fellow Group 1 members that you are part of Group 1 by claiming your message. Let's go with a turtle emoji because home is wherever you are, Group 1. Much love to you, my friends, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, Group 2. You chose the Phosphosiderite. I think that's what it is. Phosphosiderite. And the Embroidered Forest Tarot for your spring cleaning reading today. Please remember that this is a general reading. As with all readings for the collective, some messages are going to resonate with you and other parts of the reading today will not. So just take what resonates and leave the rest for others on their own journey. We're going to hop right into it today. So your first card for your overall energies for this upcoming time period, the spring period, we have here maybe the next couple of months. Oh, is the sun. Look at the shinies. Okay, sweet. Very nice. So this is some pretty bold energy, Group 2. The energy feels like someone who is just laying it all out on the table. That's really striking me, like the bright yellow against the dark background here. It's like you're wiping the slate clean, you're tilling the soil so you can start fresh. This is the energy of someone who's just ready to lay everything bare and embrace the noonday sun. And the sun at noon, we've got that teeny bit of shadow right from overhead, but there's not much shade to hide in or to hide under. And I don't think this individual wants to. It's almost as though this person has been keeping things under wraps for so long that they deplore the shade. And, you know, it makes me think of, like, just imagine a vampire. And they're so ancient that and so sick of the dark that they crave the light of day. And I'm feeling like this is you. I'm not saying you're an ancient vampire. Maybe you are. But I'm feeling this is your energy. This is very Leonic as well at this time. Like just being ready to get out there, to be seen. And so it makes me question, like going back a little bit about the shade. Have you been spending your time hiding? How have you been spending your time hiding? Do you let others take up the energy and space that you should be rightfully owning and occupying? And I want to say it feels almost like you're doing a 180, but it's more conscious than that. It's not like you're just, I'm going to flip everything on its head just to be different, you know, just to do the opposite. It is a much more thoughtful and a much more curious energy than that. An awareness has started to bloom for you here, as we can see with a sunflower here. And so I want to ask if you've been holding yourself back in any way, and now you're just ready to kind of get out there. And I feel like it's almost like I got the sneak peek of something that's coming up. It's like I'm at a play and we're hitting another act in it and the action is starting to ramp up. We're getting to the exciting part. So there's this big anticipation that I can feel in my solar plexus. So I feel like whatever you're putting out there, whatever energy you're generating during this period is pretty magical, Group 2. It's like you are the one that's scattering all these little seeds, these little sparkles that are coming off the sunflower here on the sun card. And you're just dusting the ground with them. Like I see people surrounding you. They want to come get some of what you're sharing, what you're offering. And I feel like it's meant to be shared, you know? Maybe you've been holding back for so long. It's time to get out there and share these things. You're ready for it. Yeah, you might have been holding on to things, maybe even hoarding your energy a little bit and your time, just really protecting yourself. Some of you, this is very specific, maybe coming out to others with a revelation or a secret, a surprise, maybe something you've been holding on to for a little while. There's going to be some kind of disclosure, some exciting news. And for others, perhaps you're starting to see yourself as the magical human being that you are. When we begin to love ourselves more, this can carry the energy of some pretty startling shifts as we come into awareness of our own lovability and magic. And so perhaps this revelation, this truth that's coming forward, is one of seeing yourself with the eyes of truth, the eyes of the divine, how they see you, how you are seen, and loved completely, how you are truly worthy of peace and love, compassion, kindness. I feel like you're like this fawn that's under the sunflower, like, except I'm not seeing you so little. Like, I feel like you've had a lot of time to think and rest, and you're just like, okay, I've got my legs under me. It's time to get moving. This is a group that has big mental energy. I do think you've kind of been at this for a while. Change like this big, going from the hiding to coming out, is not something that happens overnight. I think you're ready to move beyond researching, planning, any phases that are like that, grinding things out. And you're ready for action. That's what this energy is showing us here. Visibility, authenticity within your relationships. Perhaps the relationship with yourself is deepening here. Clarity like you haven't experienced before. This is a big moment for you, group 2. It's a glow up, even for the spotlight. I think for some of you, that's what's coming through. This is a celebration of all you've achieved and who you are. And this literally may represent you're having a big party at the end of whatever period it is that you're going through. There may be something you're celebrating, a milestone, an achievement, overcoming something, and you're getting together with your nearest and dearest to bask in that love and adoration and fun, just coming together to enjoy and give to yourselves. Yeah, there's a lot of love here. And if you're in the public eye, you'll likely be garnering more attention, and I feel like you have worked very hard for that shift. Spirit wants to offer you big applause. I'm seeing this like you're in an arena, and there's a group of people cheering for you. The whole place is packed to the rafters. There's cameras flashing. There's people like whooping and hollering, calling your name, and everyone is giving you a standing ovation. I feel like that's like your spirit team as well. So I do feel things are coming to a tipping point in the best way for you, group 2. And I want to dig into this a little further. And so our next card that we'll be looking at in this spring cleaning reading is the card of decluttering. So that's the first thing we do when we're cleaning, right? You've got to move stuff out of the way so you can actually get to the cleaning. So we want to look at what can we move, what can we let go of, what's no longer serving us, what could be holding us back, what can we pitch. And what needs to be decluttered for you is represented by the 6 of Swords, and this is in reverse. We'll turn it this way so you can see it. All right. So this is the energy of holding on to something or someone. And not quite being ready to let it go. Whether it's a person, whether it's a persona, a job, an occupation, a hobby, a place, a situation, a marriage, a partnership, anything, fill in the blank. Something that someone at this juncture in your life would need to wrestle out of your hands. Even if that thing isn't necessarily in your highest and greatest good at this time. And I did say this group that you do have some strong mental energy, and that's reinforced by the appearance of the Suit of Swords here. Which can represent when our rational minds are pinning down our ability to feel our emotions, to process them properly. So this may indicate there is some fear here, not wanting to feel what needs to be expressed or let out. There could be some avoiding tendencies here as well. And when we see this boat, it's meant to represent leaving something behind as a personal choice for our highest and greatest good. And I see a boat in this position, in the reverse, as one that's eventually going to sink. And you can choose to face that situation and handle it now, or you can wind up treading water down the road. You're still going to have to face the water either way, face your feelings. but they may be a bit heavier. You may be a little more tired. It may be a little bit harder to let go the longer that you delay managing the situation. Every choice we make meets some kind of need for us, whether that's conscious or an unconscious desire and need. Yeah, so you may not know or be aware or be conscious of these decisions or what that underlying need is or not. But something here is asking for your attention. So what is it that you need to clear out and move on from? Because you will know this. You will be able to answer that question. And I want to add in, it could be an individual. It may be someone you talk to via text or messages, as I associate this card also, and sometimes just the Suit of Swords in general, with technology and the internet. So it could be a job also that's within the tech sector. It might not just be somebody you're communicating with online. So maybe it's someone you're communicating with online you've never met in person. Now, obviously, that's a very specific message for some of you. Now, whatever this is that you're clinging on to, like a life raft, it's just not serving you at this point. And perhaps it did once, group 2, okay? But Spirit is asking you to take another look at this. What is the cord? What's the tether? What purpose does that serve? What purpose does this thing or this person serve to you? They're asking you, Spirit's asking you to dig into those feelings and to express them. You know, what are your habits or patterns that may contribute to the situation? Some of you may already be aware of these. Maybe you know that you say go for unavailable people, or you prefer to hold all relationships in your life at arm's length. Maybe you have a friendship that you realized is past an expiration date, or you're at a job that used to light you up, but you've shifted, right? And so it may no longer be a good fit for you. So you get the idea. We could really be talking about anything, and only you are going to know what this is. You'll know what it resonates with. By clinging onto this sinking boat here, you are depriving yourself of the most precious commodities you have, your love, your time, and your energy. And you could be utilizing these things to step into the sunlight where you're meant to be, where your energy wants you to go. But only you can say how you want to handle this, group 2. And I'd say for a sizable portion, probably like 65% of you watching, I don't always get numbers, but okay, we're going with numbers today. This is probably an ex or situationship. You probably need to go cold turkey. Like no contact. So yeah, about 60-65% of you will need to go cold turkey. And that's just getting off social media. You could block them. You could mute them for a while if you feel it's like too much to cut them off for now. And of course for others, if you pedestalize that person, I think the more you get to know them, you may see they're human, just like you. They have flaws. And this may knock them down a few pegs in your estimation as you get to know them a little bit better. And it might actually make things easier for you, but that's not going to be everybody. Group 2, I do have a feeling that you have mulled this over for quite a bit at this point. You know, again, we talked about that mental energy. So I think you know deep down in your heart what the right course of action is going to be for you at this time. I'm going back to like stage and acting. Some of you maybe like you're with a bad agent or representative, or you've hooked up, and that could be like in the music industry as well. Yeah, you may be hooking up with somebody or like an art connection. And it's time. It's time to cut out who or what is holding you back, to declutter this aspect of your life so you can step out into the sunshine and celebrate your true radiance. That's the way things are meant to be for you. All right. And so from this decluttering action, we want to examine what's being planted at this time. So what's going to happen to this glow up and this new vitality for you when you cut out whatever it is that you need to cut out that's no longer serving you. And so your card that represents this energy, oh my gosh, yay, it's the Magician. Isn't that cute? Look at it, it's so sparkly. Yeah, this is you seeing your own magic, group 2, in the essence of who you are. You are pretty magical. This is so cute. Look at, and it's like everything is looking in this direction, even the boat. We're upside down, but it's moving in this direction when it's upside down. And yeah, all eyes are like focused on that direction on the sun. Yeah, you're seeing the essence of who you are, and you're allowing it to like bubble up to the surface. And what I'm seeing, it's like when you're coming up for air, when you've been holding your breath and swimming underwater for a long time. And I almost see this like the person or situation that you need to declutter or cut ties with was energetically holding the reins. They may or may not have been aware of this. You may have actually just handed the reins over to them. And again, remember, a lot of what we do is totally unconscious behavior. And it's possible, you know, you wanted them to meet an unconscious need for something, attention, love, validation, you know, anything. Many of us don't realize who or what is driving our own carriage. You might think it's us, but it's not. Well, it is, but by proxy we give it to somebody else. And when you cut these cords, you shrug out from the shadows, from the ties that hold you back, you're free. And you may even feel like a weight has been lifted from your shoulders when you do this, when you make this conscious choice for yourself to feel better and to give to yourself. You're not going to help but to feel good. Yeah. I almost see it like, you know what I'm seeing? It's like an old magic trick, and maybe it's because we have a magician here. I'm thinking of like Houdini. Like I'm seeing old-timey stuff, and it's like you've got all these straps on you, some like weird leather contraption, and you bust out of the water. You've done your greatest magic trick ever, getting away from this person or this situation, and you know, we pop everything, we cut it all off, and it's just you get that big breath of fresh air, and there's just such relief for you, group 2. And you may have that relief immediately, but I have to warn you, it's not always going to be sunshine and roses. You know, after this, there will likely be days that are sad or challenging, and that's just part of the healing, because the only way to heal is to go through it. There's no way around it. But I have a feeling that you will begin to feel these little sparks of magic under your skin. You'll start to feel more confident. You'll start to feel more alive in yourself day by day. And this confidence and shine is what's being planted for you should you decide to go forward with cutting these ties with the Six of Swords situation. And we want to examine what needs nurturing on this path, what needs tended to during this time period. So for you, that is, wow, you guys have a lot of major arcana. This is the Star. Isn't that pretty? That's amazing. So we have the Sun, the Magician, and the Star. So 3 out of 4 of your cards have been majors. That's kind of wild. So this is big feelings work for you. I think this is going to be something you're really working on. You know, and I know I said a few times you are thinkers. There's a lot of mental energy with you. You might be people who ruminate a bit here, but you definitely have big feelings wherever this is, or this is a big, impactful kind of change for you. And so what you need to nurture on this path is hope. Yeah. Remember that. Marinate in it. Stew in it. Take a bath in it. Above all else, honor that. Find ways to cultivate it. Hope. Yeah. What's that Emily Dickinson poem about hope? Hope is the thing with feathers. Let me see. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul, and it sings the tune without the words, and it never stops at all. I think that's right. There's more to it. I think that's the first stanza. And if I recall, there are a couple other stanzas. She talks about how that bird, how hope, and it's funny, we have birds here, right? Shows up in the hardest of circumstances, the most trying of times, like the chilliest of lands, I think she says. And she goes on to talk about how it warms others no matter how tough things can get. And Spirit wants you to look that one up. I don't remember the rest of it, but I remember that first stanza. I probably had to memorize it in school or something. But the Star's asking you to believe that not only will things get better, but you can change. Things aren't fixed. They're not permanent. You know, even the constellations shift positions to us in the sky as our Earth changes, rotates, tilts. You can make a difference for yourself. You can act on severing the Six of Swords energy. And as you work through your feelings and you express them, look, the water being poured out here, you know, make sure you consult a professional who can support you during that if you find things are getting tough for you. Your view is going to change, though, in all of this. You know, your lens is going to change. You're going to begin to see more of the magician inside of you. The one who has everything they need at their fingertips to create the life that they desire. So don't stop dreaming. Don't stop believing. Hoping, wishing, and do things that make your heart light. Treat yourself gently and kindly while you do this hard work. You know, spoil yourself a little bit. Yeah. So your nurturing energy is, oh, this is funny too. Look at the color of the phosphosiderite. It's the same as the star background there. Yeah. Your nurturing energy is that of hope and the beautiful things to come. You know, remember this. Remember this. Remember the sun. Remember the magician. The knowledge that you can change and that you will be the person who's able to confidently stride into the sunlight, completely at ease with themselves, and less burdened by what other people think of them. Yeah. And then we finally have our last card, the blossoming card. It's the end of the journey. We want to discover this end result. You know, you've done your inventory, the work, you've tended to your gardens, you've pruned out what doesn't serve you, and you've nurtured what does. And your card to represent that is the Two of Wands. A little fox there and two more sunflowers overhead. The symmetry is really striking me on this one. It's, you know what it's reminding me of? It is reminding me of the Chariot, which is a water sign. This is, I know this is fire here, but thinking more about emotions. Yeah, Chariot's associated with Cancer, I think. Yeah, I see this as like you've been doing the heavy work, like the lifting, the cutting out, the pruning back of what no longer serves you, planting of the seeds of magic and hope. You're beginning to come back into alignment with yourself and who you're meant to be. So there's a healing and a softening of harder energy here. Emotions feel more even. Your outlook is more balanced. You have a nice clear view, I think, of what's around you and where you want to go from here. It's like you're up on a hill. There's ambition, there's drive, but it's tempered so that you're not burning yourself out. You don't feel like you're burning the candle at both ends, which sometimes can happen with that wand energy, but 2 is a nice balanced number. You may even find a steady partnership in this. You know, so if this was like an individual you're cutting out, and I kind of talked about like maybe a toxic mentor of some kind, like maybe you're finding somebody new. And I feel like you can accomplish so much from this place. Like there's a steadiness that's blossoming for you. You can begin to see the magic within you and around you. And as you allow yourself to come out from the shade and into the full light of day, there's no shame. There's no toxic feelings. There's nobody holding you back from achieving your full potential. And you've managed to turn what was a difficult situation into something that has taught you more about who you are. And your acceptance of all of this makes you all the more radiant for it, Group 2. Yeah. Very beautiful cards today. So Group 2, that is your reading today. I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for being here with me on our spring cleaning journey. And if you'd like to book a personal healing session or reading with me, details are in the description box below. I only take readings through my Etsy site. I never solicit anybody for readings. So just be aware of that. And to balance everything out and in recognition of our energetic exchange today, if you enjoyed this video, I ask that you like it and share it with others who may likewise find it of value. And please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. And if you're so inclined, let fellow Group 2 members know that you are part of the Group 2 crew by claiming your message. Let's do a sun emoji because you sparkle, Group 2. Much love to you, friends, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Hello, Group 3. You chose the Hematite, and we are working with the Astera Tarot today for your spring cleaning reading. So please remember, this is a general reading. As with all readings for the collective, some messages are going to resonate for you today, others will not. So whatever feels right to you, you take that and leave the rest for others on their journey. Let's get into your spring cleaning reading now. All right, so your overall energies is what we're looking at first for this upcoming period of spring or the next couple of months. And what we have going on here, is the Lovers. Okay, so what's coming through for this is the energy of Gemini, all right, for people who resonate with that. I am seeing what was once divided is coming back into union, a separation ending, and this may imply a reunion of a love interest. For a large part of this group watching today, this is just about you rediscovering yourself. And I shouldn't say just. It's about that, though, for many of you. Falling in love with yourself is what Spirit is stressing to me. A feeling of coming home as you integrate missing pieces or parts of yourself. Anything that was cast off, disowned, cut off is healed and reintegrated. And from here, this energy feels incredibly warm and expansive. Look at how fiery that looks on the background, in the dark background. It's comforting, though. It's not an energy of too much. And it's as though from this point forward, you're going to be able to see your long-term goals, I think, with more clear eyes, clear vision, and feel the mojo and gumption that you need to achieve them. There's a spark here too of knowing. You're going to know it and feel it when things are possible for you. It's like a stirring in the solar plexus. There's an expansive feeling in the gut, so it's like your clairsentience is firing up. You'll be able to follow a thread of possibility to its outcome and better know when things are in alignment for you. It's almost like a little like psychic boost, I want to say. More things are possible from this space. Things that you didn't dare dream about are closer to this energy. This is your new energy, right? Because you have been settled back into yourself at this point. I feel like I'm so fired up just because of this energy. It's making me like talk a lot. Spirit's really like pushing tonight. There's an energy that's happened here of acceptance, okay? It's like I see someone and they're leaning against the mirror, right? And their face is resting right against it and meeting their mirror twin on the other side of the glass. And the separation blurs between the two of you and you become each other. You melt and merge, and there's a wellness and a wholeness that accompanies this change. And there's no second guessing here. There's no strings attached. Energy moves freely. You feel the freedom. It permeates what you do. It's like a breath of fresh air comes with you no matter where you are and what you're doing. Other energies aren't going to stick to you as much. Like your aura feels more impervious to me. Yeah, impervious. It's like you're coated in Teflon, like a pan, right? That's the major energy that's dominating your spring. It's a reunion with yourself, your soul, and all the gifts that can come with it. So there is definitely, there's a little woo-woo in here, guys, for you. Yeah, it's pretty magical. And so I want to take this a step further and see what else we have. Tuck you up there and look at our next card. That is going to be the energy of decluttering. Yeah, and what we do when we're cleaning, we're decluttering first, right? You've got to get everything out of the way so you can actually do the cleaning. So we want to examine what's no longer serving us, what can we let go of, what are we pitching, what's going to, hold us back where we need to move on, because we need that energetic space. And so here we have the Page of Cups. Okay. This is interesting. I've never read this card this way. I'm getting huge Peter Pan vibes from this. Yeah. Ooh, my hand's getting all hot. Earlier with the energies of the Lovers here, there's this feeling that crept in about reclaiming the disowned parts of yourself, like shadow aspects. We have a shadow here that had been hidden or cut off. Anything that's you that may be out there floating in the ethers that needs to come home. It all wants to come home to you and it wants to roost. This is part of that process, the integration process. The Page of Cups, again, it's giving me these huge Peter Pan vibes. It's like we're seeing here the boy who didn't want to grow up. Here he is distracting us with shadow puppets, so we don't see how time's actually marching on all around us, and we're sitting out on the sidelines of our lives. It's like someone showing you what you want to see, but it's an illusion. There may be a bit of a quality of this individual wanting to fit in with you. So there is a mirroring, but it almost feels like you're led on in a sense. So I'm actually talking about a person here for some of you. I don't know if they're aware of this or not, like that they led you on, but it is a possibility. Yeah, this is the energy of distraction, staying busy for the sake of feeling busy or needing to feel needed, feeling like you're contributing. It's almost an addictive feeling too. Addiction doesn't just imply drugs or alcohol or gambling or sex. It can rear up in other ways, like an addiction to people and their approval or being needed and valued. Staying busy, being a workaholic. There's lots of things that we can be addicted to. Yeah. There are a few things coming forward with this. And firstly, this could have been an individual or individuals who have been distracting you from that integrative Lovers energy. Yeah. People who are holding you back. This may be about half the folks that are watching right now. And they may have held this kind of magical Peter Pan thinking kind of attitude, because I sense that their words and their actions don't line up. There's definitely a misalignment there. Like when your brakes aren't aligned in your car, your tires aren't aligned, they're out of alignment. There's a possibility that they also have this childlike wonder for things, and at the same time they're working themselves to the bone in a very avoidant, addictive patterning. It's like I'm seeing two sides of the same coin, but neither can see each other. Like the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing, or whatever that phrase is. they're acting independently and appear to be very different, yet they're both very distracted. So they're both serving a purpose. Fantasy being, you know, fantasizing and not living your life, but then also like working so hard that we don't have to think about our life. And, you know, within this energy, again, if this is an individual, I don't sense any room for you. It's like there was or is too much going on with them, and they're so distracted by their own childlike hopes and dreams and magical thinking that they can't possibly see you. They can't see all of you and everything that you have to offer. And I just feel like you're too real for them at this juncture in their lives, group 3. It's like they can't possibly value you in the way that you deserve to be treasured. Now, I understand that's a very specific message for some of you. For others, this is about our own distractions and avoidant behaviors, not wanting to see our own shadows. So we dive into a realm of avoidant behavior that keeps us moving and moving so quickly we're dizzy. And so maybe, you know, within that, I'm thinking of dizziness and feeling like we might be partying too much. We might be drinking or eating too much. This is like an energy of too much. We might use others around us as a fuzzy or warm insulating blanket so we don't have to think or feel shame that might surround these avoidant choices we're making, because sometimes that's what we're doing when we avoid. We're avoiding uncomfortable behaviors or feelings like shame. Maybe this is you being glued to social media and your phone, like TikTok. That's like a whole nother thing. And I do feel, for those of you, this is kind of like an addiction. I do feel some of this is tugging on your conscious behavior, because a lot of this is unconscious. But there may be for some of you here a subtle awareness that you're making these choices, and with it comes a whole nother onslaught of shame or nerves and anxiety. Like, you know, there's work to be done, and things feel scary and overwhelming, and it's like, where do you begin in all of this? And I think, you know, the answer to that, where to begin, it's going to vary on who's watching this, but Spirit says you have to go through. You can't get around the healing. You can't dodge it. You know, and the healing work begins with an awareness of habits and patterns and what we're doing. We start to just get a little nudge in our brain, a little tickle there. It's like we're suddenly coming up for air in the middle of being triggered, for example, and going, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Yeah. We want to have that awareness of habits and patterns, what we're doing that keeps us feeling safe and insulated from pain, but is some kind of outdated method of operating. It's not really helping us any longer, but it's harming us. You know? It doesn't mean it was wrong. It might have helped you at one point, but when it is when you feel out of control in your life, that is when there's the problem. And so the question is what to let go of here. You know, if it's this Peter Pan-like figure we were talking about, a boy, I want to say, not a man, but a boy, so probably a male for a lot of the people who are watching this. It's a man disguised. Well, it's a boy disguised as a man, I should say. This person may have been a fantasy, someone who feels like they could have or were meant to sweep you off your feet. You know, you're going to know where to start. That person is actually sandbagging you and holding you back from your own flight. If it's you blocking yourself, Spirit says to begin to get curious about these patterns and ask yourself if you engage in anything that's covering up or letting you avoid what's underneath. That's where you want to release. And I know, this is much easier said than done, my friends. This is a process, group 3. And if it feels overwhelming, see if you can hook up with a therapist or counselor to support you on this path of letting go and digging into what's underneath these patterns. If you're doing things to distract yourself, so you're sitting on the sidelines of your life instead of participating, you know, ask yourself why. But also, you know, where can you begin trimming down on these behaviors, like a social media detox, dopamine, what is that, like a dopamine detox? I don't remember what it's called. Scheduling a date with yourself. You know, going on a walk around your neighborhood and really getting grounded into yourself as you do so. Journaling, breaking the habit of being who you were and beginning to create the new you. They're just little, maybe even like a thought log or a thought journal. Yeah. You'll start to follow the right track. You'll know it. You'll know it. All right. I know that was a lot in that section. I want to move on to the planting portion of the spread. So we want to examine what's being planted at this time. And if you move into this decluttering phase that we talked about, how are you getting closer to the Lover's integration energy? And when I was originally shuffling things out, you guys ended up with 2 cards here, so I just took the 2. Usually I just do 1. And so you actually have the 6 of Swords here. And the Queen of Wands. It's really colorful. So that's a lot of power that we have right here. The bottom line, I think, is what you're planting is this idea of letting go and decluttering, okay? Yeah. Perhaps even by watching this, you're understanding and getting the universe's hint that it's time to get curious about things and cut out people or habits that are holding you back. Because the 6 of Swords is about moving on to calmer waters by choice. You know, only you have the power to do this. Nobody else can make you. And as you do that, you're going to automatically begin sowing the seeds that the Queen of Wands has to offer. You know, look at the lion's eyes right here, right? That's incredible energy. It's direct, it's pure, it's unafraid. It's likely seeing to the heart of the matter, to the truth. And so you may begin to see both past and present behaviors and actions and experiences through an entirely new lens, like this lion has. This will in turn shape your future behavior and who you are becoming. So I think what's being sowed here is determination and a sense of confidence and power, being comfortable with being seen and the truth of the world around you. And I think you're going to be able to manifest so much better from the space, Group 3. I sense being much more at ease in the world around you. Like you're starting to feel like you belong, whereas you may have felt more like you were always on the outside looking in, a bit of an outsider. You know, colors look brighter. There's more of an artistry here. There's more of a general passion and enthusiasm surrounding your experience in the world. You know, passion, the lovers. I think you're finally both in the world and of the world at the same time. Especially if you always felt like a spectator before. So those are some of the seeds that are being planted for you at this time. And we want to examine what needs nurturing on this path, what needs tending to. And that is the 5 of Wands. So more fire energy here. This is always my too many cooks in the kitchen card. So I think what you need to nurture here is you taking the reins back for yourself. Whatever you're building going forward, you are the chief architect. Nobody else needs access to your plans or your materials, your resources. They don't get to decide the building, right? They don't get to decide if you're in, if you're out. And you don't need to sit around and wait for them to get things done on their own timeline either. This is you. This is about you. So what needs nurturing at this juncture is empowerment, your sense of power, how you project your personality, how you make your way in the world. And you want to catch when you might be falling back into old habits of deferring to others or inviting too many people into your energetic field. This is the time for you. It's for you to create your own vision of yourself and the world and how you make your way in it. You know, there's a lot going on here with all these snakes. Just too many snakes. And we have a snake here on in the water, on the 6 of Swords, right? It's kind of stalking the boat. So, for decluttering, you know, cut the heads off these buggers, or at least be mindful when you start falling into habits of the past. Because you need to be standing in your own power in order for this integrated energy and synthesis to occur, Group 3. Yeah. All right. And finally, we had 2 cards pop up for you for our last pull, and this was the Blossoming card. The end of the journey. We've done the inventory, the work. We've tended to the gardens. We've, you know, pruned things out. We've nurtured what we need to nurture. And what came out for you was, we have the Page of Wands here, which I feel like I want to put there, and the Hermit. Yeah, Hermit wants to be in the middle. You have some high energy cards here. We've got Lovers, we've got the Queen, we've got the Hermit, we've got 2 pages. Learning. There's a period of learning, like getting to know yourself, I think, getting acquainted. So I think what's blooming for you here, Group 3, is the ability to be comfortable with yourself and to be honest with yourself, to be with yourself, to be by yourself and in your own energy without the interference of other people. There's an empowerment that's happening here as we have the fox on the Page of Wands. And I think that's why I felt like I had to put that down there. It's facing toward the Hermit. It's like it's tentatively approaching the Hermit from the underbrush to inspect what this might look like within the Hermit energy. So when you're able to be, I think, without these external sources of distraction, the Peter Pans, all the people with you at all times, if that's your addiction, or whether, insert your addiction here, eating, drinking, working, whatever your personal poison is, that's where you are going to be able to finally shift into this unified lovers energy, group 3. And so this is going to take some elbow grease on your part, and it is quite the journey that we are seeing here through all of this. However, Spirit wouldn't provide these guideposts if it wasn't a possibility for you. So your energy is that of someone who has the curiosity and knowledge to begin these steps forward. You're getting curious about everything. And as you work through these shifts, you may find yourself amazed by how your perception has changed and the level of peace and contentment that you find within yourself moving forward. And I want to stress that that change happens with each step. It isn't just the destination we're focused on, but the journey you take with yourself, because that is where the true magic lies, group 3. You're going to get there. All right, group 3, that is your reading for today. So thank you so much for being here with me and with the rest of us for the spring cleaning journey. And if you would like to book a personal healing session or reading with me, details are in the description box below. I only take readings through my Etsy site. I never solicit anyone for readings. Just keep that in mind. And to balance out and in recognition of our energetic exchange today, and if you enjoyed this video, I ask that you like it and share it with others who may likewise find it of value. And please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. And if you're so inclined, why don't we let fellow Group 3 members, you're part of the Group 3 crew, by claiming your message with, let's do the double heart emoji to represent our Gemini lovers energy that we are integrating this spring. All right, Group 1. You're not Group 1, Group 3. Much love to you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, my friends. Hello, Group 4. You chose the Fairy Stone, or Goddess Stone, and the Great Lakes Tarot as your deck today for your spring cleaning reading. Okay, friends. Please remember this is a general reading, and as with all readings for the collective, some messages will resonate and other parts of the messages will not today. And so just take what applies to you. Let the rest go for others on their respective journeys. And let's get into your spring cleaning reading. Okay, so the first card that we're going to be working with is your overall energies for this time period. And your overall energies for spring, this upcoming period, we have that of Justice. Okay, so Libra energy, group 4. And what's coming through is I'm hearing there must be balance. Okay, so when we spend time on the water, what surrounds us? Seabirds, gulls, right? And they can be as aggressive as humans can, taking back from the waters and the shores what we claimed as our own, and then some. Think about when you're at the beach and you've got a sandwich. If we want to play on the water, this is just part of what comes with the territory. I do feel there's a bit of a warning with that. And not a warning against what's coming up. It's just, a better term would be a reminder. I'm feeling a bit of a reminder. Mother Nature strikes a balance within her realm. Of course, only to a point. Her landscape and her climate influence us. And we in turn slowly shape the planet. And we may ask ourselves in some instances if we've already passed that tipping point. And for you watching, you've probably passed a tipping point with something or someone. Something has happened that has, I want to say, arrested your energy. That is what I'm feeling. This gull is watchful. It's striking me as someone who's waiting for what is due. What's past due. And that could be you, group 4. I'm feeling someone who is impacted by an injustice or a hurt of some kind, and there's a wound from this, either psychically and energetically, or it's something that is still playing in or on your emotions, even if this was perpetrated some time ago. You know, the hurt lingers like the sense that a breeze carries over the shoreline. You know, sometimes it's not such a good smell. Justice is card number 11. Look at this. And the two wooden posts we have here form an 11 with rope that's tying them to other posts just out of view. So it's like you're being tied or tethered to a situation. And I feel like that's the gateway into your story. This could have been a cosmic partner, a twin flame situation for some of you watching. Yeah. You know, and as surely as the tides move in and out, there's our lakes here, you know, you're going to have quiet and calm days followed by stormy November gales on the Great Lakes. And I sense some energy like the winds are shifting here, and perhaps it's time that things circle back around and they're balancing the scales of justice for you. This is really interesting and it's quite intense. This is not quite what I was expecting from this. So definitely not like any of the other readings, and I want to keep rolling with it. So our next card is the decluttering card. And, you know, that's the first thing we do when we're cleaning. We need to move things out of the way so that we can get to the right areas to clean. You know, looking at what we can let go of, perhaps, donate, throw away, pitch it. What can we look at that's no longer serving us? What needs to go? What might be holding us back? Your decluttering card is the Three of Swords in reverse. So it looks like upright. This is known as the heartbreak card, typically in tarot, but perhaps it's not the energy of actual heartbreak that's keeping you tied to a person or situation, you know, to this watchful gull energy, but the lack of resolution or acknowledgement. You know, even as I'm holding that, like, it's a little awkward. There's a division there. So I think, group 4, some of you are still working this out. This may have been more recent, perhaps in the last days, weeks, or months from the point that you're watching this. But however, there's that other group that I talked about earlier, where I feel like it's been going on a bit longer, as the situation doesn't feel as fresh, and that could be why the Three of Swords is in the reverse position, implying it happened some time ago. But regardless of timing is always tough with tarot, you know, things just don't feel resolved to me, okay? And it's almost like your heart and head need resolution in the form of recognition or justice in order to move forward. There is just this stuck quality that's really being emphasized here. Yeah, look, if it's like two people now, you're facing apart from each other. You know, and this is a big ask from Spirit, but you are being reminded it's okay to move forward through your grief or your pain so that it doesn't stay frozen, so you aren't frozen in time. Not moving on, not forgetting, maybe not forgiving, you know, but just moving through. You know, and sometimes when we're hurting or a loved one's been hurt or lost to us, because it could be something, you know, other than a breakup. This could be really about any kind of loss or hurt. We need to hold on to the pain sometimes as like a token or a tribute to remind us of what we've been through, or if we've lost someone. It reminds us of that individual. It's as though if we let go and push that hurt down, we're dishonoring ourselves or dishonoring their memory, dishonoring them. Yeah, we create meaning sometimes around loss in this way as a way of honoring, you know, and loving and paying tribute. And sometimes it just, that's when it's about ourselves, we get frozen in that, you know. And other times we just hold on to hurt and grief because that's just where we are. You know, grief is unique to each of us, and it really can't be pigeonholed. But regardless of whatever your situation is here, just know that the energy exists here being stuck. And I want to say it's stuck, it doesn't mean broken. So the decluttering action here is one of allowing yourself to do what you need to in order to get things moving again, and also to release any expectations you placed on yourself or expectations you feel others have placed on you, especially if they feel you should have a timeline for your feelings, because we know it doesn't work that way. So this is about kind of pushing aside some other people's opinions that, you know, maybe weighing in on you a little bit and occupying some of your precious time and energy, when really that person doesn't have any business there. And I'm being drawn to mention that, whatever hurt you may have experienced that, this Justice card's highlighting, it may actually be tied to past wounds. So you may have some original hurt or trauma or pain from childhood, and that original unresolved emotional load is really what's activating the hurt. Like, I'm just noticing the way these are, the colors on these cards, like the contrast that's here, it's just so stark. Like, things are really standing out. And so to me, it's like past and present. There's a divide here. There's a stark difference between them. And that is, it could be because there's a divide between something that happened to you now and then something that happened to you in the past. You're getting triggered. And that message obviously isn't for everyone, but there can be big impacts from needing to work through original hurt in the past, which is possibly that older energy that I was picking up on originally. And it's almost like you have a scar that looks healed on the surface, but underneath things are still pretty raw. If you're interested in the idea of inner child work, Homecoming by John Bradshaw, it's an older book at this point. It may be worth investigating if this idea of like attachment or attachment wounds and styles is piquing your interest, like inner child work. And if you're able to begin moving through this again and to release any expectations for an outcome or resolution of the situation, the watchful gull, things may actually move a little faster outside of you. It's like the universe is going to take care of things. So like, don't worry, 11-11, we've got your back. Like they've got like a cradle around you, a structure around you that's protecting you. And so you may find that a balance is restored to you. It may not look or feel like you originally wished or anticipated, but the energy of justice coming up here shows that there can be movement and change and relief through release via moving through. And I want to emphasize we can't just let go in grief because we're grieving. People say that, let go. You have to feel the feelings and move through. There's a difference. Healing is moving through and learning to live with that. Learning to live with an absence or a loss. All right. Let's see what is being planted at this time. So you guys are a pile that got 2 cards for the planting. Not everybody else did, so we're going to take both of them. And they are the 2 of Pentacles in reverse. So we're seeing camping in a forest. And it looks like sand dunes for the 6 of Pentacles. All right. So thinking about both of those kind of hooked together in our planting action. I think both of those cards, like the two of Pentacles and the 6 of Pentacles, often for me do kind of represent balance, which ties back into justice, I think there's this idea of striking balance between the mental and the physical. So this might be about spending time doing something that gets you grounded, beginning to break any habits that may be keeping you locked into where you are within this stuck energy. Shaking your day and your week up a little bit by doing things a little bit differently. So that might include camping or getting outside. Even if it's cruddy where you live right now, maybe you're in the southern hemisphere and things are cooling off. Or whenever you watch this in the future, maybe it's winter. There's that saying, like, there's no bad weather, just bad clothes. Remember that. Like, try taking a walk, doing something that increases energy for you, it builds it, and that energetic flow through movement, that's just a beautiful idea. So outdoor sports, even a walking meditation, you can go as slowly as you like, being focused on the ground under the soles of your feet and the sights around you, the sense, engaging with your senses as much as possible, and repeating that so that you start to build new habits. And there's also an idea of you finding balance by not giving too much of your energy away with the 6 of Pentacles. Keeping your emotional balance intact by watching your energetic resources. So if you're giving away time and energy, group 4, those are some of your most precious commodities. That's a fast track to burnout when you're overextending yourself or you're always looking to others for acceptance and approval. So be a little selfish with your time. You can say no to things, no to people right now. Use more of your time to explore hobbies and things that get you moving instead. And as you're decluttering by addressing this stuck energy, and the stuck emotions with it, you're planting seeds for balance. So part of your planting process is to continue to find ways to keep your energy flowing, getting curious about what's available and around you, perhaps spending time outside to help with being grounded, and to monitor your energetic and emotional resources. So don't overgive, group 4. Allow others to care for you at this time. Maybe you're somebody who's not comfortable with that. It's okay to do that. Even if you don't feel like being around other people, try it in small increments to begin with. And over time, you may find that you start to feel better and more like yourself, like you're coming home to roost. Yeah. Okay. And so we also want to look at what needs nurturing on this path, what needs tending to. And for this, you had the star. So that's interesting. This actually came out in the exact same position as another pile. I think group 2. So if you were feeling pulled to that group, you may want to go back and investigate that if you're feeling drawn to that. And with the star, I always think the key word for me is hope. Hope is an important energy for you here. And I think leaning into any small shifts or changes for you, group 4, any softening that's happening as you're taking actions. Yeah. Reflect on memories that are beautiful and outside of this original justice person or situation. Give yourself the space to create a beautiful future memory or memories during this time as well. A lot can be done on the path of healing or mourning or grief, whatever you want to call it, sorrow, to create that movement that we spoke about. I actually want to bring up a podcast, a website, and a book that helped me a few years ago when I lost my son through an adoption that didn't complete. And it is called What's Your Grief? And I will link that information below in the description box for you. And one of the things that I did to help me move and create some meaning, and this was through them, it was suggested through them, was to reclaim spaces that my son's feet had touched in our time together. And I did this through photography. And maybe, right now, I'll pop up some pictures and I'm going to blur his face out. So you kind of get the idea. And what you're doing is effectively, reclaiming those spaces. You're facing memories and rewriting them. And that showed me that I could still go to those places and have those memories. And I had a good hard cry everywhere, but it helped me move forward. And it also helped me to see time was passing, too. Like, life continues to move on, even though we feel a little frozen and stuck. And the other thing was I took his clothes and shoes, or his hat sometimes, and I packed them into a backpack and I hiked to places that his feet would never touch with me. And that was one part of grief I never thought about. It's the loss of the ability to create future memories. All the things that I had envisioned for us as a family were gone. And this podcast and this website and these wonderful women, and I think that they're licensed like clinical therapists, and the What's Your Grief community, they have wonderful ideas like these to help you connect and reclaim parts of yourself, and to foster hope through connection, acknowledgement, and support. So know too, though, like, you can grieve anything. When I say that, I know it's a heavy word for some people. Like, they're not like, oh, grief, that's a lot. But you can just say loss too, and it can be a breakup. It could be the loss of a job. Your status is something that you were like really holding on to. A divorce, losing your house, having to move. There's a lot of things that this could look like. So don't get too concerned, I think, with like labeling what things are. We don't want to compare, because you can have grief about anything. And hope. Yeah. Hope is important for you. And so your spirit's asking you to nurture that, to have it, to hold it, and know that you can get through this, whatever it is that you're facing. And, at the end of our journey here, we want to discover our end result, what is blossoming for us now. And you've done the inventory at this time. You've done your work, tending to your gardens, pruning things that don't serve you, and then you're nurturing what does. And your cards to represent blossoming. And again, we had some extras. Oh, that's funny. The Hermit, which again we had, I think, in this position in the last one. I think it was the last reading. And then the Ten of Pentacles. It's an Ordoc. Reminds me of Michigan. Okay. All right, that's weird. So, yeah, exact same position. So that might be another group to check out too if you felt pulled to group 3. So what's blooming or blossoming for you in all of this is an ability to be comfortable with you, to be able to spend time alone with yourself, to feel your feelings, And you may discover you form an entirely new relationship with yourself going forward from this. And there's also this energy of a contentment and legacy and firm foundations. You know, like if there's some old wounding and patterns from childhood we talked about here earlier that are impacting you right now with the justice situation, and maybe probably other situations as well, like, you know, when we're kind of like triggered or thrown off by something. It tends to happen across the gamut of other experiences. It's like you're effectively coming to terms with these hurts. Like, yeah, you're integrating things. You're rebuilding what was once a crumbling foundation, and you're firming and shoring everything up. And things are going to be easier for you going forward. Now, this is contingent, though, upon you doing the work, Group 4, and that's not easy. So you have to buckle down and step into the person you want to be as you're doing this. You need to honor yourself by caring for you. And if this is an ex or a karmic relationship, or however you want to label it, a twin flame, you know, I do feel that the more you work on you, the less you're going to care, and the easier it is to let go. And this other individual may be hurting more than you realize. I want to say that I'm actually really feeling that right now. They may be somebody who's stoic and they don't let their feelings out. And they may actually get to a point in their own lives where they have their own tower moment or a dark night of the soul, and know that they need to get their act together. And they may, or they may not. And by that point, you'll be light years ahead, and this experience is just one drop in the bucket of your life. For some of you, they may actually come around and contact you. I do have to add that, but I'm kind of getting like a, like, we're not going to talk about that too much. The Spirit's like, just move on. And if this is something different, like the example of my son, I can say that you can get to the other side of this, and there is beauty here. There is happiness here. And you can look back on this as part of your human experience. And I know that sucks. I mean, you didn't want that experience. You didn't sign up for it. You're still going to be sad. You're still going to be angry. You'll still be hurt by things the things that other people do and the things that they say sometimes. You know, and I still have times and days where things hit me. But I have so much gratitude for the time that we did have together. And I would go through the whole thing all over again because it was worth it. He was worth it. All right. Have hope, Group 4. Transformation is coming. Justice is coming. Things are going to be turning around. So Group 4, that is your reading for today. Thank you so much for being here with me on the spring cleaning journey. This one was a little intense, so give yourself a little hug. If you would like to book a personal healing session or reading with me, details are in the description box below, and I only take readings through my Etsy site. I never solicit anyone for readings, just bear that in mind. And to balance out and in recognition of our energetic exchange today, if you enjoyed this video, I ask that you like it and share it with others who may likewise find it of value. I will, again, have those links down below for you if those are things that you want to explore. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. And if you are so inclined, let fellow Group 4 members you are part of our Group 4 crew by claiming your message. Let's do the star emoji, okay? And that'll remind us of the light of hope, Group 4. All right. Much love to you, Group 4. I will see you in the next one. Bye, my friends.